In spite of that, you decided to invest two hours of your time in this group. So thank you all for having me here. I shall start with, how many of you believe you can cut down sleep hours and make up, so that you can invest it in your work hours? How many are you believe that it is okay to do it? It's
I don't
okay to
believe.
cut sleep. If
I
it's
don't.
okay, you type it's okay to cut sleep. How many? I just want to know who believes like that. It's just so that it's easier to. There's nobody. Okay, not okay. Very good. So those who say not okay can type not okay. It's going to be a little interactive. I need to understand what your concepts, because there's no point me just talking. If you disagree, if you disagree, please tell me. I'll be happy to chat with you and work this out. Because the
Yes,
end of the day,
I do disagree, sir, because
ah,
sometimes under compulsion you have to cut short your sleep and complete the project.
yeah, under compulsion, that is the correct word. Okay, so that you're not doing it willingly. I know people who willingly do it. I was asking whether it's under compulsion or willing.
No, 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 no. I don't think anyone likes willingly to cut short his sleep. These
Oh,
are our sleep.
there are people, probably you wouldn't know. I think Rahul himself may say, oh, he's a testament of somebody who was willing when he was 20, 18, 20, and all that. So, so people who are ambitious, people who want to grow, and who have a high standard for themselves, typically they feel 2 hours less I can sleep. It's okay. Okay, that type of adjustment they start doing from an early age, and when it works for them, when they don't notice any big difference, they continue. Then it becomes months and then years, and then when they really have problem, it becomes difficult for them to get back their full sleep. So that's the issue here. So which is why I'm trying to warn people before itself, so that they don't get into this habit of stealing from their sleep, because it's actually stealing from their sleep. So let me get into my presentation. I have an interactive, you can see this. It's called a mind map. So it'll be easy for us to go through point by point, and you'll also get a clear understanding of what sleep does for us. First, let us understand what sleep does for us. Then we will go into FAQ. You can ask me some FAQ. Then I also have a science of sleep. What is science of sleep? Will have why sleep, what is sleep, when should you sleep, practices. All of this is there. This is the overall thing. I understand we have totally till 9 o'clock. So we can have questions in between. There is no problem at all when you disagree with something. When you want to know something, you note down the question. You can even put it in the chat, and then we can always catch up with those questions. So if somebody can help me note down all these questions and tell me, so that it is not missed out. But where you disagree with something, I'm quite happy to answer it then and there. Is that okay? Can we follow this format?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
fine.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
Okay.
perfect.
yes.
Great. Thank you. So the first aspect of sleep. See, as you know, our body has been developed over 5 million years. We've evolved from primates to whatever, to Homo sapiens, to finally modern man. All right, the modern man is about less than 1 million years old. There are various estimates of this. But the fact is, sleep itself is 5 million years old. First, that is five. When I say 5 million, that is when we slept on the ground. Before that, we slept on the trees. Okay, that is a primates. So once you came to the ground, that was early man. All right, where he started, and the sleep patterns and everything has been developed and evolved over 5 years. 5 million years. Okay, but in the last 100 years, just 100 years, just imagine 5 million years, one thing has been getting hard coded and programmed into our body. Then suddenly in 100 years, actually I should say 30, 20 years, really the 100 years is light, when you had artificial light, when you had industrialization, when probably night shift and all. Night shift came 40 years back, you can say, and 20 years back social media and all those things have come. So what is happening recently, if you notice, lot of changes in the way our night is. Okay, earlier when I was 10 years or 20 years. By the way, I'm 58 years old. Okay, for so when I was 10 years or 12 years, that time there was only landline. Okay, no television also, and people used to sleep by 8:39 because there is nothing to do. See, you go to school, you play, you have your dinner, and then you go to sleep. 8:39, 9:30 maximum. I used to wake up at 4:30 because I used to go, walking or church. Various activities were there. So that used to be my sleep pattern. Now nobody sleeps anymore at 8:30. Okay, 10:30 is early. Some people 12:31. So that is the way we have shifted our sleep pattern. Okay, in the matter of some 20 years. Right. So what is being told here is what is developed over 5 billion years. This is what the body does. It has a memory, it has a pattern of doing things. So this is a natural way, and sleep scientists have discovered this. I can give you the references of those scientists also, and you will find those links will be there. So you can see that for yourself also. So what happens is, first, the main aspect of sleep is it heals your physical body. Your organs get repaired during deep sleep. We have 4 stages of sleep. We have awake state, we have REM state, we have light sleep, and then we have deep sleep. So that is the last stage. And then we go back up to light, REM, awake. Like this, it goes in cycles. We have 5, 6 cycles every night. Each cycle is 90 minutes. Now, in the first part, the first 2, 3 cycles, the organs get repaired. That means you're between 11 o'clock at night to 3 o'clock in the morning. That is the main time for housekeeping. Like in the IT companies and all, you see, standard housekeeping teams will do when there's no work at night time. They'll have shift system and they'll come and do their work. Now, if that time the office is locked or they don't have the key, they will just finish and keep going because they have a routine. So same way the body is getting repaired, like liver at one time, kidney at another time. It has a schedule. This schedule is based on our body's memory and the circadian cycle. So the body knows when it is nighttime. It has a clock. It doesn't have to see the clock or the light. It doesn't have to see the watch. It knows because if it has aligned to the sunlight, if you had got the sunlight in the morning, it then forms a 24-hour cycle, circadian cycle it forms. It knows, okay, this is dawn, this is noon, this is dusk, this is when I have to produce melatonin, this is when this person should go to sleep. The body has an intelligence and it knows when to do. Now, if we follow the body's intelligence, we can automatically normally sleep. But since we are too intelligent, we are more intelligent than the body, we are more intelligent than the cosmos, we think that this is no, my schedule is important, my career is important, my this is important, my that is important, and we go for it. So when we do that, are you able to see the share?
Can you
Suddenly?
reshare? Something happened.
Yeah, looks like the share suddenly disappeared. Yeah, so what happens is, since it is already knows that at this time it has to do, it is doing it. But when we interfere and we say, no, I have to watch a football match at 2:30, only at that time I want to watch it live. All right. So you wake up at 1:30 or 2 and you watch, or you stay awake, worse still. Okay, this my sons used to do, now they stopped doing. I'm just telling you how it was. Okay, so because we didn't know the science behind it. Once I realized the science behind it, then I showed them the science. Then they realized that they want their organs to last 50 years, 100 years. Our body can live 120 years. That is a design of the body, human body. 120 years. Each kidney can live for 80 years, and we have 2 kidneys. So kidneys can function 160 years. But since we abuse it, some type of toxins go in, it starts getting eaten away. Similarly, the liver can last some 110, 120 years. Like that, each part has its own life. Overall, the human body, if you live naturally, can live 120 years. If we allow the good sleep and we allow the natural food and all those natural exercises that is required. So the organs get repaired during the deep sleep time, which is 11 night to 3 in the morning. That is the deep sleep time. Housekeeping team is working. If you want your body to be repaired, you'll sleep at that time. You don't want it, your call. See, everybody has free will, free choice. Okay. Everybody pays consequences of the decisions they take. So, but before you didn't know, now you know, okay, that this happens. Okay, this is the time it happens. So I should ensure that I must sleep if you want your body to support you. All right. So this is one thing. Second is the dead cells are flushed out. The cortisol stress levels are lowered. The sleep time is housekeeping time. Cellular level repairs take place at the cellular level. All right. That is a amount of precision fine tuning our body has. Our body is an enormously very intelligent machine, highly well designed. I mean, if you are to pay for it, it will cost so many millions of dollars to pay for creating such a body. But we have got it free. And unfortunately, things we get free, we tend to misuse. So physical body healing happens at that time, 11 to 3. Second, main thing it does it protects you. Do you remember when 1 or 2 days, 2 nights you don't sleep and then you're driving on the road coming back to your city and suddenly you'll sleep off in the thing? Because if you're sleep deprived, the body will suddenly steal sleep from you. It will steal few seconds, few minutes. Without your permission, it will steal sleep from you. So if you're operating a heavy machinery or you're driving, imagine on a highway you're going at 100 kilometers and suddenly you drop off. In that few seconds, a big accident can happen. You can hit the middle, the divider, you can hit oncoming traffic, or you can hardtail somebody. So those type of things could happen. Accidents happen because you have deprived your body, you're sleep deprived, and you're doing some work using heavy machinery. That can cause an accident. Then it protects you from aging prematurely. See, when you sleep, you're rejuvenating your body. It's actually a recipe for what they call immortality. Immortality. Because every day, if it gives you full repair, it's trying to replenish you and make you whole again. Okay, but since we have taken away that thing from it, we age prematurely. So it protects you from aging prematurely. It protects you from becoming fat. There are certain hormones which are produced, which produce hunger. All right, now or inhibits hunger. These two hormones are reversed at night if you keep yourself awake. If you notice when you're awake till 12 or 1, you search for sugary things. You want some dessert, you want some carbonated drinks, you want something to power you, because you're suddenly being deprived. So the body starts craving for these things. And then when you eat the next day, you are taking the things which are not good for you, which are going to add more fat for you. And that is how you become fat, because the right hormones have not been produced. See, at night, certain hormones are inhibited, certain hormones are increased. So this, pressing of brake or increasing of accelerator happens the wrong way if you're not sleeping correctly. So you could become fat, you could get heart attacks. I mean, like my friend who passed away at less than 40. So, and he's a runner. He has no financial problems. Everything. His family is perfect. Kids are perfect. He's part of the Rotary. He was a president, doing exceedingly well. He had an IT company. He was doing well during COVID time. Okay, because they had US offices, and they had online work. They were doing quite well. Everything is good. All right, there's no issue, but gone. All right, and no bad habits. So, and he's kept himself healthy. He was very conscious about his health, and still he passed away before 40. So that is the enormity of this thing. Yeah, please. Then early death prevents. Alzheimer's, dementia, all of these things can hit you if your sleep is less. That's how powerful sleep is. The brain, the effect on the sleep on the brain is enormous. Okay, and we are still discovering more and more. Constantly research. There are sleep labs which actually put all these things and they measure which part of the brain gets fired when, at what at what stage of the sleep. All of this is being measured. So science is trying to catch up. All right, but most importantly, our ancient Indian science had the right habits. Okay, but we forgot that, right? There they say 8:39, 9:30, go early to bed and early to rise. Early to rise was 3:30, 4:30, and then you go do meditation. You learn. You can have a cold bath. You can do running or work. All these things were allowed to. That is encouraged to be done. But today we have reversed it. So, but science is now coming to that aid. See, science, modern science and ancient Indian science are now converging. A lot of things that ancient Indian science said without empirical proof, okay, based only on somebody's wisdom and which is passed down for thousands of years. So based on that, it said certain things. But today, science is proving those things. It is coming close. Can you mute it, please, whoever it is? It's a nice music, but if you can mute it, it'll be good. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So, the types of sleep, Mr. Gauss, I'll answer that. Okay, we'll get there because I'll be covering that part also. Brain, the way it functions at night is, see, the body is sleeping. You're unconscious. Your conscious mind, your prefrontal cortex has gone to sleep. But your subconscious and unconscious are all working. Okay. So your memory consolidation, whatever your senses gathered in the day, it starts consolidating and storing it. Some are short term, some are mid term, long term memory. It starts filing everything and keeping it. So that's why they say when they put you under hypnosis, they can pull out information which you think you don't have also. Because you didn't consciously register something you saw or heard, but it is filed inside your head. Okay. And there are portions of your head which owns that memory. So that's why they say kids who need to do well in exam, they say you study in the night and then sleep. When you get the right sleep, enough sleep, the consolidation of memory happens and you're better prepared to write the exam because your memory is consolidated now. So there is a technique of reading, sleeping. When I say reading and sleeping, you don't have to learn. By reading, you can memorize it. And reading and sleeping, you can memorize it if you train yourself to it. So some people have become very good at that. So memory is built during the night only. When you say I have a poor memory, probably you're not sleeping well. Okay, so that's a possibility. Just think about this. Second is cognition. Your ability to work on problems, or your ability to have be analytical skills, decision making, problem solving, critical thinking, everything, the way you think itself can be improved just because you're able to sleep. All right, you give yourself a good sleep. Now, in this particular portion about brain, I'll also like to tell you, you can even pose like Thomas Alva Edison. He used to have short naps. Prior to the nap, he's been wrestling with a problem. I hope you know he's got 1,008 patents in his name. Some 1,200 plus inventions he has. And he has about 1,008 patents to his name. That's the amount of production he's done in the year the late 1800s, basically. That's when he was highly prolific, this inventor. So he used to have normal 6 to 8 hours sleep at night, but also multiple naps. The naps are preceded by a problem solving episode. And he puts the problem to his head and then goes to sleep. When he wakes up, more often he trained himself to actually come up with solutions after the sleep. A lot of you would have had that feeling of the night you're thinking of something. Next day morning, suddenly you have a eureka moment and you say, hey, yeah, that's a good solution. How many of you have had such a experience where you thinking of how to solve a particular thing in the previous night, and next morning when you woke up, you had the solution? Anybody who's had it, say me. You can type there. Oh, okay, you put a thumbs up, so I assume you have done it. So anybody who's done that, me, yeah. See, so you would, if you just look back in your past, you will suddenly remember, hey, that day I got the solution just in the morning. Night I went thinking about it, morning I got it. Now you can start training yourself, because most times what happens as a fluke, it just happened by itself. And we like shrug our shoulders and go off. We don't take that as a sign that this is something I can replicate. So as you keep replicating and replicating and replicating, you become a problem solving machine. If you notice, the most successful people are those who can solve the biggest problems. The bigger the problem they are able to solve, the more successful a person gets, right? So if you want to be successful, best way is to become a great problem solver and use your sleep to make yourself a great problem solver. No, imagine you're getting your rest as well as your subconscious is working and coming up with solutions for you. Isn't that a smart way of living? Is it? If it's a smart way, say yes, smart way of living. So then I know you've understood that concept. It's a very key concept, because now you'll know how important it is and you will not short shrift your sleep, because during sleep you can work smarter, you can come up with more solutions, you can solve more problems for yourself and the world. And so, isn't that a smart way? Okay, great. Thank you. So that's a power of the brain. Okay, it's not mentioned here the fact that it gives you solutions, but you pose a question to your mind before you go to sleep, and watch how the question has turned into an answer the next day. It's something you have to practice. It's like cycling. First day you get on cycle, you may not cycle. So you'll fall. Second day, third day, then finally you start cycling. Becomes easy, or swimming. No, everything is like so. You have to train yourself to know that, hey, I have to put this problem. I'm going to get the solution the next day. Tell yourself that and do it and see how the solutions start. No, don't. It will not bother your sleep at all, because you're submitting to the sleep. You're telling your subconscious, hey, work this out for me. I'll see you in the morning. That's it. You're just letting it go. You're not holding it in your prefrontal cortex. When it will bother you in the sleep is when you are consciously trying to solve the problem. Then it will bother you. When people believe I run my life, it is not God, it is not my subconscious, it is not, I have to sit and think hard and only then I will find a solution. If that is your belief system, then your prefrontal cortex only will be working, because that is only this portion. It's a small portion of your brain. You have a full brain behind. Okay, that is not working at all. Your conscious brain is only one small portion, it's the tip of iceberg, that's all. And that is cranking. Imagine that is cranking and trying to solve a big problem while you have a big engine behind and you're not using it at all. That's basically what happens when you don't give the work to that big engine. Give it and go to sleep happily. You have to let go. Once you let go, it will not bother you. So it's your belief system, it's a mindset. Everything is mindset. Our whole life is lived between our 2 ears only. Everything is happening here. You may say it's happening there, and you point out. It is what is happening there is processed here. We take it in, we process it, we give it a meaning, we attach a meaning to it, and it becomes a belief system, and then we suffer if it is counterproductive for you. So because you processed it that way, if you reprocess it differently, it will serve you. You can process it in a manner to serve you, or you can process it in a manner which will not serve you, which will destroy you or harm you. So, yeah, infinite intelligence, I meant a subconscious mind. That helps. Yes, super. Okay, so don't worry, it will not bother you in sleep. You are not posting it to your prefrontal, you're posting it to your subconscious. So you can sleep happily. Somebody else is doing the work. They will do the work and they'll come up with a solution. Okay, tomorrow morning, suppose tonight you put and tomorrow morning you don't get. Don't call me and say, "Hey, I didn't get." That is only first day. Okay, you have to, it's cycling or swimming. First day may not happen. Second day, third day, fourth day. As you start on doing, it depends on the size of the problem also. All right. I want to solve world hunger. And in one night you want to solve it. That's not going to happen. Okay. But you will find little things up. First start with small things and then build it up, build your confidence in yourself, build your confidence in your subconscious, and slowly see yourself aligning. Then your whole self gets fully aligned and it's all pointing towards where you want to go. All right. So that is in terms of brain. Now, fourth, it improves your looks. Who doesn't want good looks? Tell me. Is there anybody here who doesn't want good looks? Right? At any age, even if I'm 80, I will want good looks only, right? I want that pretty 40-year-old to look at me, correct? So everything is, so everybody feels, see, you look good when you look at the mirror, right? So you're happy. If even nobody else looks, just the fact you wake up and you look at somebody who's looking handsome or pretty, you're quite happy. So looks, you get your looks by just sleeping. Beauty sleep. Why do they call it beauty sleep? Because your skin gets moisturized. You don't need to use all those creams and all those other stuff. You just give yourself the proper sleep and automatically your youthful looks start coming back. I think I am a living testimony. I'm 58 years old. What do you say? Right? Wouldn't you say that? So I sleep very well, and I've whatever. God has also probably blessed me with some certain genes or whatever you can say. But the fact is, it is there. All right, and it is called beauty sleep. There is research to back it up. All right, it and why do they call that term beauty sleep? See, if you've not slept properly, next morning your eyes are tired, baggy eyes. You have to put something to like hide it for all these. So these are the things which are the downside of not having got a good sleep. So allow yourself to sleep and like the way you look at your youthful looks are back, your skin tone improves, skin suppleness improves, wrinkles are reduced, dark circles are reduced, and eyes shine better. End of the day, the main beauty is the eyes, right? When your eyes are shining, everything else is outshone, right? And that is the biggest takeaway if you slept well. So do not shortchange your sleep. All of this is only for that, to say that it is central to you. Will you say, I will, okay, for 2 minutes, I won't breathe, it's okay? Will you say that? You know how integral it is, right? So if you even take shallow breaths, you know how bad your lungs suddenly get compromised, all sorts of issues happen, right? So how, and do we say, okay, I'll eat this food now, but don't digest now? See, these are all natural things which are inbuilt into the system. It is to take care of the system, your breathing, your digestion, your sleeping. But why do we think that sleeping I can postpone and I can do this and I can do that and this is more important, that is more important? Why that feeling? Imagine if it happens for your digestion, you say, hey, okay, now don't digest, you do after 3 hours. What do you think will happen to your system then? So be conscious that you owe it to yourself to sleep. Who else will take care of yourself? Tell me. Will your company come and take care of you? Will somebody? You have to look at something which will work with you, not against you. So you find opportunities where you don't have to compromise on your sleep. Make it central to your existence. Will you compromise and go stay in a highly polluted country where you have to have a mask and buy oxygen and live? You'll rather live in another country which has, or another city which has better air to breathe, right? If it's available. If it's not available, only you have to put up with it. So why are we compromising? So your looks, your brains, your health, and your protection, everything is dependent on the sleep. Then fifth, emotions. Okay, just think, if you've had a bad night, Aren't you crabby the next day with your partner and your family? You start snapping at them, or because you've had a bad night, you've not slept properly. And when it becomes 2 nights and 3 nights, what happens? So as it starts building up, then your relationship around you itself goes for a toss. And you're highly stressed, right? So these are things which are dependent on your sleep. Just the fact that you're well rested, you look at the world around you more beautifully, more calmly, more understanding, more appreciative, more accepting. All of that happens when we have had a good night's sleep on a consistent basis. So reduce stress levels, stay calmer, be relaxed, more loving, and connect better with people. All of this can happen with, again, just sleep. Then improves your career and finances. You're more productive. Why are you more productive? Because your mind is clearer. Okay, your memory has consolidated. This has all the toxins have been removed. The night the housekeeping crew worked. No, please remember that night the housekeeping crew works here and works in all the organs. All these kuti, these bots go around and do their work. All right. So because you allowed it to do. If you stayed awake, the light was on, you were in a noisy place, or you're sleeping with your light on also, you're not getting right sleep. Anyway, I'll come to those portions later. But basically, you're more productive because you're clearer. Okay, better decision making happens. There's more energy you have. So the way you project yourself is so much more different, better. Then your relationships or work is better because you're calmer, there's no stress, your problem solving skills have improved. And especially if you have practiced this thing of planting the problem before going to sleep and asking for a solution. So you plant a problem with the request to your subconscious, please come up with a solution for me in the morning. Okay, catch up, good night, and go to sleep. And allow it to work and come up with a problem. So once you develop this ability, like Edison, please remember Thomas Alva Edison, 1008 patent. Nobody else has beaten him to that. And he utilized sleep well. Please read him up, Google him. And his sleep you find out, and his patents and inventions you find out. You'll see how much he has experienced. He has done it. Einstein used to sleep 10 hours. Just think. All right. While others like Elon Musk is saying 4 hours is enough. But look at his eyes. Look at the baggy eyes. Look at his health. And what is his age? Okay, is he burning out, or is he going to, yes, he's done very, very well in this corporate thing. But is he taking care of himself? So these are the questions. Suppose you want to burn out by 50 and live like him and die, that is okay. See, that is a choice. Okay, I don't mind living up to 40 or 50 only. Live like him and die. It is okay. Then fine, you burn out. But if you want to see why I actually want to live to 120 years, by the way. Okay, so why do I want to live to, so that way I'm less than middle age. I'm less than half. All right. So I'm still young in my eyes. All right. And why do I want to live to 120? Imagine the changes which happened in the last 20 years or the previous 20 years. The amount of shift happening to the world. I think in another 30, 40 years, probably people will be living in Mars. I may be able to take an interstellar travel. I don't know. We don't know, right? Those are things which are happening. Science is progressing so much, and there's so much in the world to see. Forget going outside the Earth. In our Earth itself, I've still not go to Machu Picchu in South America. I've not visited the Amazon. There's so many places I've not seen, and I want to see all of them, and I want to be fit for all of them. I want to be able to travel. All right, so I'm keeping myself like this. It is work. I exercise. I take care of what type of food I have. I sleep properly. These are things because I'm interested in myself being healthy, energetic, fit, and willing to go and have those adventures, right? So this is me. Some of you may want to do charity, or want to go to visit temples, or want to, build your company, or want to work for a company and climb up to the top. Each has different things, right? So what is your path? What is your direction? What would you be happy if you were to die tomorrow to say, I tried this? I went after this. This is the way I live my life. Okay, what will make you that? So find your purpose, find what you need to. So these are things I teach in my course also. All right, so that people align themselves. See, end of the day, each of us have our own paths. Each of us have our own aspirations, goals, dharma, your purpose, your dharma. Everything is individualized based on you. Okay, so what is it that you want? And are you investing in yourself in terms of sleep, nutrition, exercise, well being, energy, fit, all of these things? Is it there? Will it be able to help you get to that goal? So you have to look at all of those aspects. So I look at spirituality, I look at giving back, I look at every aspect of our life because that is us. We are not only unidimensionally one career person or one family person or this person or that person. We have so many avatars, right? And so many roles to play. And in each of these roles, if we are not found wanting, okay, we are living to our fullest, then our whole life is lived to the fullest, right? So this is what we my courses itself are aligned. First is sleep, foundation. See, unless you have sleep, your life is nothing because really you get into a lot of issues. Okay, so get that first settled. Sleep has to be settled. Then is your nutrition right? Are you exercising right? And have you found your purpose and are you aligning yourself to that? So if all of this is being done, then automatically you're on a trajectory. You can only set the direction. What will happen tomorrow, nobody knows. But if you're traveling in that direction, that's good enough. And if you're enjoying the journey, that is good enough. And that is what we are working towards, right? For which sleep is the foundational thing. I mean, there's no two ways about it. So we have to get that settled, set properly thing. So at work, you'll be more productive, decision making, energy at work, relation problems, everything, spot opportunities because you're clearer. Your mind is able to spot an opportunity and pick it up. So imagine if you're either you're in your own business or even in a career, won't that get you a leg up in terms of growth? Because you have spotted the opportunities and you're making more profit for the company. So this is how you can utilize your sleep to power your career. Don't think that sleep is coming in between your career and you. You have to set the tone. You have to show your results in your waking hours. Why do you have to show results in your sleeping hours? Right? Results can be shown when you're awake. All right. When you show that, they'll automatically allow you to think. So you have to negotiate it right by performing well. Rest yourself properly, go energize and go do a great job so that they allow you to take the rest and fight for your rest if you require it. But slowly they'll start understanding it and share them these videos. I have a lot of videos on my own YouTube channel and I have links to other videos also, not only my own videos, the sleep scientist videos, a lot of these things are being shared there. Look at my blog. You can share these scientific findings to your boss if it's required to tell that, look, your Medicare bill will go down, this will go if you allow us to rest and then do. Because everything needs rest and then even a machine requires rest, right? And human being requires a lot more than that. Then seventh, hormones production. I hope I'm not going too fast. I hope it's okay for all of you. You're able to follow. If you're able to follow, say follow. Super. So hormones production. Now, I don't know how many of you take more than 3 pills a day. Okay, you just type how many pills a day you're taking, if you're taking pills. Or if you're not taking pills, say no pills. Any medicines like vitamin C or sleeping, anything. So 1 pill, no pills, okay. 2, super, all healthy, good. 10, 3, okay. So 10, 3, 1. All right. So if you notice these pills, what do? They are actually, see, some of them are to when you're having an infection, it's dealing with an infection. That's not something we take long term. We take during a particular portion, it's over. But otherwise, if you have, let's say, hypertension or some lifestyle disease, then we are on pills for a longer period, sometimes lifelong also. So these pills, what are they doing? They make us dependent on those pills. Okay, so let's say thyroid, you have thyroid problem. So they give you pills where you are not, your thyroid's functioning is being replaced by this pill. So now your body needs only so much, right? It will stop producing because it's already there. It's being provided by some. So slowly you'll see pituitary gland is this start. One each gland is not doing its work, but chemicals are doing the work. But the chemical which the body produces is purer, far purer, and it is free. It's not charging you for it. But we pay lifelong for medication. Okay, because we compromised our body's ability to produce those medications. That is what is happening. Now, the medical world will not tell you this at all because they are built. See, which company will say, don't use my products, it's harmful for you? Or they want repeat clients. Every business want repeat clients, correct? You want the same client to pay you more and you want more clients. That is a rule of any business. For growing in a business, one is get more from the same client. Two, you get more clients. And when you do both, you scale magnificently, right? So this is how medical world itself is built. They are for profit. Okay, these pharma companies. So they build products which will make you dependent on them over the long term and replaces those products which your body would otherwise have produced for you free. Okay, so just allowing, whether it's vitamins or whatever, any medicine you take, look at contraindications. You buy the box, or you go to that, or you can Google. There's a word for it. That particular book. Okay, there's a book. It's online where you can Google about a particular medicine and find contraindications, and it will give you the pharmacopoeia type of books are there. But even when you buy from a pharmacy, they have in the box, they'll have that one leaflet. In that leaflet, in small print, there'll be contraindications. Even vitamin C, contraindications you see, then you will know. Okay, I have been there, I've faced that. My wife who passed away some 20 years back, my first wife, she had a kidney failure. And over 8-10 years, we went through various hospitals, various issues were there. So we've lived for months in hospitals. I've gone through all of this. Me personally, I've been on homeopathy all my life. My dad was a homeopath. But this was a love marriage, and she had a kidney transplant already when I married her. And we went through all of this. So a lot about every medicine I was able to read up and understand how the system works, how the hospital system, how the pharma system, how all of them work. All right. So any medicine, contraindications are there. You read it, then be conscious about what you're doing. That's all we are saying. Don't give your body and your mind to somebody else. Okay, the doctor, for the doctor, you are just a patient number. Okay, you are one of 100, 500, 5,000 patients. All right. I'm not saying you don't have a great doctor. There may be some good doctors here. All right, but whatever it is, they are overworked. That I have seen in close quarters. They're totally overworked. So they will not have as much interest in your body as you should have for yourself. It's your body, your mind, your body, your health. And you should be in charge of it, not somebody else. That's all I'm saying. Do your homework, understand it, and then with conscious, take whatever you have to take. I'm not saying don't take this, take that. Do your research. I'm not even giving you the answer here or what to do. But find out and then be responsible about what you're taking and what you're not taking. And always follow doctor's advice. Don't just, If you're on medication, let's say last 6 months, 1 year, you're on some medication. Oh, this EG told me like this, so tomorrow I'm stopping it. No, it doesn't work like that. If you've been on long-term medication, only the doctor can wean you out of that medication. Without their knowledge, you cannot make it half, double. You cannot do anything. You have to get their approval. But become aware, start utilizing natural remedies. The more natural remedies, the more lifestyle changes you make, the more you start correcting yourself and giving yourself the benefit of the health, you will find the requirement for these medications will automatically decrease, and your doctor himself will tell, okay, hypertension is there, you can reduce. Instead of 2, you make it 1. Instead of 1, half. Like that, they'll keep working, and then finally they take you off. And they will monitor you and make sure that you're okay to be weaned away from this medication. So, but you have to prove it. Your body has to prove it to them. It's not like saying, he told me, so I'm stopping. It doesn't work like that. Okay, so don't do that. But your body has the ability to produce, all right? And just start utilizing this. The beneficial hormones mainly about sleep is HGH. HGH is what is done when you're a kid. Okay, that is what gives you the muscle, the tissue, the energy, all of that comes from this. And brown adipose tissue is another one which burns body fat. Melatonin is the one which gives sleep, so helps you sleep. So melatonin is typically produced 2 hours after dusk. After the sun is set, 2 hours later it's produced. Within 1 hour, you normally will go to sleep. This is normal. So if 6 o'clock sun is set, by 9 o'clock, normally if nothing else is there, you should go to sleep. But today we have bright tube lights. We have big monitors like this. We are constantly bombarded by light. So this doesn't know whether it's daylight or night. So it's getting confused. So we need, there's a method to do it. I will address that part. We're just halfway through, I think. So I'll address that part of how to do it. But these are automatic processes which happen if we allow it to happen. So these are the increased production. Then you have decreased production of non-beneficial hormones like stress hormones, cortisol, many others. This is just an overview. I'm going to go into detail. That's a big area. So these are the 7 main areas. I just emotions, looks, brain, your protection, and your physical body. So this is the main benefit of sleep. Now, are there questions now? Can I run through the questions you've already asked? How does sleep can help to get rid of certain diseases? Could you please illustrate with some examples? Now, if you tell me about the particular disease, I might be able to help, sir. Which disease are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm Dikshit. I'm talking about DM, that is blood sugar. Whether any pattern of sleep can help.
Yeah, diabetes is definitely triggered by lack of sleep, or I mean less sleep. Sleep deprivation, it's called. It's one of the contributing factors. It's not the only factor. One of the contributing factors is sleep deprivation. You have to do a whole load of other things also. It's in terms of exercise, your diet, some lifestyle change in terms of, you have to reduce stress also. Even that contributes to your sugar levels. So there are multiple components which cause this, but sleep is one of the contributors. Over a period of time, if you've slept less and less and less, the stress levels keep increasing, and your ability to, your propensity to contract diabetes increases. So your risk level increases because of prolonged sleep deprivation. It doesn't happen in 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, not like that. It is over a period of time.
So it's a reason you are telling, okay, how does it happen? My question is how a sleep pattern, if you suggest something which help to the patient of DM.
Yeah, so the ideal sleep schedule, if you were to look at, is before 10, you go to sleep and you wake up before 5. Now, suppose this is ideal, okay, just as a thumb rule. But some people require 9 hours sleep. Some people are okay with 6 hours sleep or 5 hours sleep. It is your body. First, you have to find out how much sleep your body needs without alarm. Okay, naturally, what time? So, how do you find out your natural sleep pattern? I'll give you how to find out. Morning, when the sun rises, you go and get 10 minutes of sunrise on you. It has to fall on you, body. So, your body clock now recognizes the sun is rising. So, it aligns itself. The circadian clock starts aligned. Okay, this is sunrise. So, sunset plus 2 to 3 hours, melatonin will get produced. So sunset nowadays it's 5:30 or 5:40 sunset in Chennai, and so like 7:30, 8:30 or so is when the melatonin production will happen, and by 9:30 you can be asleep. Anytime between 9 to 10 you can sleep. You'll automatically fall asleep. You don't have to worry. Okay, just okay. One other thing is okay, morning sunlight. Second is dinner. You finish 2 3 hours before 9 o'clock. So that means 6 o'clock. Even earlier, if you can do, fine. Depending on whether you are doing intermittent fasting or having 3 meals or 4 meals, let your last meal be 2 hours before your sleep time. And your last meal should be half stomach, not full stomach, and not very greasy and heavy type of food. Keep it light so that your sleep is also better. Your quality of sleep is better. You may be able to sleep on a heavy stomach. The quality of the sleep gets compromised. Right? There's something called quality of sleep. So you can take a sleeping pill and sleep. Actually, that is called sedation. It is not sleep. Okay, you're not getting your natural sleep. Your 4 cycles and all will not happen. The ECG will not go like a normal sleep. The sedation sleep is different. Normal sleep is different. So, with children, classes at home has affected sleep patterns. Screen time has increased. What some tips for them? Thanks. Yeah. So it's here. It's about discipline. I mean, your mindset, decisions you take basically. Am I going to? Am I too much nutchified? Tamil, everybody is okay or? ரொம்ப நச்சுறாங்க children சொல்றோம்ல. So too much they are troubling us means we say okay, you watch this tab, or you want to fob it off, and by doing that you have cultivated a habit. So we have formed habits. We have helped our children form those habits. Now it is our job to get them weaned away and build positive habits. So habit formation has to be done such that all you need to know is 1 hour before sleep, no screen time. 1 hour before, let's say 10 o'clock is sleep time, means before 9, no TV, no mobile phone, no laptop, and dim lights, no bright lights, no hard rock music, soft music. So as you prepare yourself to sleep, just think back when you had a 1-year-old and you want to put the 1-year-old to sleep. What did you do? Okay, you changed that baby's dress. You probably gave a hot wipe down the baby, so baby felt clean. If a little older baby, you'll give bath also. You'll give bath, you'll change dress, you'll put powder and all that, fresh clean sheets. Okay, you'll dim the light. Okay, you'll make the room cool. All these things we'll do to make that baby sleep, right? Same thing you do for yourself and those children. That 1 hour before should be, nurturing and mollycoddling and allowing the person to go to sleep. Then automatic natural sleep will come. No sleeping pills required. Because it's a natural process, and you have a process, a pattern, a habit formation. You're tuning your subconscious to get to that point of sleep. That's how you train your baby to sleep, right? Same thing you need to do again. Yeah, PM Modi sleeps hardly 4 hours. How does he manage so much responsibilities? Now, I don't see what we hear of what they do and what they do may be very, very different. See, what any public person they have PR machines and they have different things where they say so many things. All right. I don't want to get into whether he actually sleeps 4 hours or not. I don't know. All right. If he's actually only sleeping 4 hours, whether he's cutting down his life by 10 years, I don't know. See, so let us not port somebody else's behavior and think if I just copy this alone and put it on me, I'll become PM Modi. No, you're not going to become PM Modi. Do you want to become PM Modi first? Okay. And do you want to live that kind of lifestyle? Then you start modeling. But if you first know what you want in your life, what do you want to achieve first in your life? So for that, only 4 hours sleep is required. And you're willing to do that so that you achieve it by 40 and then die, that is your call. Correct. It's a decision you have to take for your life, what is required. That is what you need to find. Not what PM does or Elon Musk does. Or, same thing like I told you.
No, Mr. Can I speak to you on that?
Which one?
Can I react to what you said just now?
Sure.
You see, I'm aware of what I am supposed to do or what I am going to do. But I just wanted to check, how does he manage? That's what I'm interested to know about it.
Okay.
I know what I'm going to do in my life. I'm aware of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, so how does he manage?
Yeah.
See, there are many. One is in terms of diet, the type of food. They have a whole team managing him. It's not one person managing him. So everything is taken care of. All right. And the sense of power that they have, that goes to their head. It drives them. They can keep on going because it feeds on them, right? So their ability to do that, just look at it as when you are working on an interesting project. Sometimes 3, 4 days, 5 days, non-stop we'll work on it without anybody prodding us to do or not do or whatever, because we are in the zone. We are like, we want to get that output done. Similarly, he is in a zone now. See, he is in a role where there is so many people looking up to him and so much expected out of him. And so he is pushed. He can be superhuman. All right. So at that time, they don't bother about what happens to their thing. And then over a period of time, things will correct. So basically, we cannot look at porting it for ourselves, but it is possible for a person to manage like that for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years or something like that. Whether it takes a toll, reduces his lifespan or whatever, all that only time will tell. All right. It's not possible for us to definitely say it will reduce or not. As some other compensation may be there. They may be taking some type of supplements. They may be doing, let's say, for example, if I were to do 4 hours of sleep every day, I would do yoga nidra twice, which is like an half an hour yoga nidra twice. So because that gives me another 4 hours sleep. It gives me equivalent of 4 hours sleep. So I will sleep from 11 to 3 because that is my housekeeping time. I don't want to compromise that. Okay, 11 to 3 I will sleep. The other times, let's say at 11 or 12 in the morning, I may feel a little tired. I'll do one yoga nidra. Then again at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, I'll do another yoga nidra. So I would interspace like this, and with 4 hours sleep, I can run for years. All right. It is possible. See, like I think Isha Yoga, he does only 3 hours or 4 hours sleep or 2 hours of sleep. But then he's in a meditative state. Okay. Even in the wake state, he's in a meditative state. He's connected. And he could be doing yoga nidra just like that. There are people who do yoga nidra standing. I mean, I know a yogi, the person who taught me that. My yoga teacher was like that. Because he's a rishi. So he's able to do that. Right. So there are methods to make do with less sleep, but that is if you're living that type of a lifestyle. Whether it's required or not for you, that's a call you have to do. Yeah, meditation reduces the amount of required sleep. Definitely it does. Because meditation puts you in that deep sleep pattern. Your brainwave mimics that, if you notice. All right. And everything is at rest and things are, the repair and other things can start happening. So that's the beauty of meditation. So there depends on what meditation, because today a lot of people have different types of meditation. The yoga nidra is a specific practice. There's a 10-minute practice, there's a 30-minute practice, 60-minute practice. There are audios for it. You can go online and get it. Satyananda Yoga Center, if you can get there, because they are the kind of record bearers of this particular practice, so to say. The Bidar School of Yoga, basically. So you can just Google that, you will get them, and you can follow that. See, when you had less sleep, you have a flight to catch, you're traveling different continents, you want to, make up your sleep. This is a shortcut. That Yoga Nidra for me is a shortcut in making up that sleep.
There was a previous question from Ada. She asked that how to ensure continuous and undisturbed sleep among elderly people.
Don't go for continuous undisturbed sleep. That is not required. Okay, first. Okay, I will answer that. I'll answer it through the science of sleep. Can I do that? Because I will get answered there. I remember the question. I'll answer it here. Okay, why sleep? We've already seen all of this. Designed to sleep at night, memory. You need to get all the energy. Improve sexual drive. That's another that I missed out in the earlier thing. The virility as well as your the count, the ability to reproduce is compromised when you're sleep deprived. So the more our species get more sleep deprived, our fertility rates will drop and the termination of the species is possible. I mean, you look at it as a macro. So our fertility keeps dropping. So from 2 child to 1 child to half child, and that's a type of dip which is happening. Some countries are already facing it for different reasons. All right. Again, I mean, actually, if you have to think about it, sleep could be one of the reasons. They all live, they are awake at night and sleep at day, and they do all sorts of things. Now, their ability to bear children have been compromised. Look at all the developed countries. All right. So sleep is a very, very important component for our ability to procreate. So that's something which I missed out in the earlier one. Other things are all said, aging, this, everything has been said. So why sleep has been answered earlier. What is sleep? So the types of sleep, somebody asked for that earlier. So you have, there are 4 stages in sleep: the awake state, the REM state, the light sleep state, the deep sleep stage. Now, this is the typical night sleep. I'll just make this bigger. Yeah, you can see that clearer, I think. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the 5 cycles. Each 4 stages, 1 cycle. Then again, those 4 stages, next cycle. That's how it goes. So from awake, we go into a short REM, then light sleep, deep sleep. The first cycle itself. Then we go back. If you notice, the deep sleep is maximum in the first and second cycle. By the third cycle, it becomes more light sleep. Fourth cycle, very little, no deep sleep at all. The third and fourth, no deep sleep at all. And fifth state, only REM state. Normally, when we wake up, hey, I had this dream, I had that dream, because maximum REM state happens at that time. Now, if you notice in the third stage, you've woken up. A lot of people have this sense of, I woke up, went to the toilet, or some people also have the thing of checking message or looking at the time. So you have a pattern. When you wake up, you have certain things you do. Sometimes you go to sleep very easily. Some of you are pottering about for a much longer time and perhaps struggling to go back to sleep. So now some of you may not even remember having woken up in between. But the fact is you might have woken up for a few seconds and gone back to sleep, but you won't remember the next day because you didn't really consciously take in anything. But you could have woken up. In a sleep lab, when you're put on the monitors, only then the real sleep will be captured. Even those wearables don't capture everything accurately. The sleep lab will capture it accurately. So only then you'll know the real thing. Otherwise, it is just, it happened, didn't happen, because your memory, you didn't have memory, right? You were sleeping. So it is all hazy. Only what is allowed to remember, you will remember. So when you wake up in the middle, you will wake up. It doesn't matter if you wake up, and you typically go back to sleep. Now here you have 5 cycles, which is 7.5 hours. But there are some people who, let us say, they'll wake up at 3 o'clock and they're awake for 1 hour, 1.5 hours. It is okay to be awake for 1.5 hours. You don't have to get stressed. See, first become comfortable with your body and its needs. Some people like to sleep 2 hours in the afternoon and they sleep for 5-6 hours in the night. That's called polyphasic sleep. That is multiple phases of sleep. So you might have 2 phases, some may have 3 phases, which is okay. As long as overall you're getting those 8 hours, 8 to 9 hours, 7 to 9 hours, let me put it. As long as overall you're getting between 7 to 9 hours of sleep in a day, which includes your afternoon sleep, you should be okay. All right, so there's no problem getting up in the middle. Don't look for 8 hours continuous non-stop sleep. That's not going to happen. This is the way we sleep. I hope that answered that question. And the average time in each, if you notice, awake stage maybe 2 to 5%, light sleep is 45, which is major portion is around 50% there. Deep sleep is about 20%, and REM another 20%. So this is the average time spent. So is this clearer now? It's bigger, so you should be able to see it. Right. So this is the structure of sleep. This is how the stages and the time spent and the thing about sleep. And then when should you sleep? Now, when should you sleep is a very interesting question, because there are so many conflicting answers there, and people swear for me this only works and then that only works, and some people keep on redesigning their sleep again and again, trying to find the perfect way to sleep. So when I would say when you should sleep is when your body is asking for it. At that time you should sleep, because that is your natural sleep. The minute you refuse your body to go to sleep when it wants, when you want, it may refuse to go to sleep. Please remember that. I treat our mind, actually the subconscious, as a wild animal. See that, because you have your consciousness, which is telling, okay, do like this, do like that. But then your subconscious has its own way of thinking, and it says, no, I will do this way only. So it's not always following you, right? So if it is following you, great, then you're in control. But if it is most times, those who are struggling for sleep is because it is not following them. All right. That's because we don't follow them. I mean, your consciousness has treated this badly, so there's no trust between the two. You have not built the trust and rapport. So you have to build this trust and rapport first by understanding what your body needs. So how much sleep, when does my body naturally like to go to sleep? And when does it naturally like to wake up? And how many hours is that? And this you can't find in one day. It will take you at least 10 days, 1 week to 10 days, if possible 2 weeks. The more data you have, the more accurate it is. And you keep watching it. So over months, you will realize, okay, in winter month, I sleep like this. In summer, it's like this. In autumn, it's like whatever, So you will understand, festival time, or when I have a lot of work, it's like this. So the more you start understanding how your body is performing, what is its natural thing, and you support it, allow it to happen, because then it will support you in your waking hours. So when you work with your body as allies, then it will. So make sure that when your body needs it, you're giving it the sleep. You're not saying, I have to watch this movie, I have to do this, or I have to do that, because that will give that'll be difficult for the other thing. So when to sleep is typically this guy sleeps at 11 o'clock. Okay, that may not be the cycle for you. All right, he wakes up at 7 and goes to sleep at 11. So for him, his sleep drive starts going up. See, as soon as you wake up, you're fully satiated, your sleep is done, right? So the minute you start waking up, you will start feeling sleepy again, and will keep on rising. The sleepiness feeling will keep rising till the height. This is the lowest, and that is the highest. So during the day, as you're burning energy, in a cellular level, glucose is being burnt during the day. That is called a catabolic state. We are actually burning energy. Okay. During night, we are building energy. The reserves are built so that next day you can burn it. So night is anabolic state. The day is catabolic state. Anabolic means it's building up. Catabolic means it's burning. All right. This is the 2 stages, daytime and nighttime. So awake state and sleep state. So when you're in sleep state, once you come out of sleep state, that is your lowest point of wanting to feel asleep because you're fully satiated. And as the day progresses, as your awake hours lengthen, it gets higher. Now, this is one cycle because this is your body. There's a second cycle, that is a circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm follows the sunrise and sunset. So it goes by the natural flow of day and night. So when does the sunrise happen? When is the sunset? And when it is so during, that is the lighter blue line you see in the bottom. So it will keep going standard like this because it goes only by the clock. Okay, it goes by the sunrise and sunset. So when this distance is highest, sleep drive is highest, and circadian rhythm is lowest, that is when you tend to feel the most sleepy. Now, that does not mean you have to sleep only at that time. You can sleep a little earlier. You don't have to sleep when you're most sleepy. And once you cross that most sleepy state, it's more difficult for you to fall asleep. That is a problem. So after 11, when you go, you have crossed it, and now your body is resisting. Because if you are a runner, you know, if you're a long distance runner, you get your second wind, you get your third wind. Even in playing any fast game, you'll get tired at one point. Then a few seconds of deep breaths, what happens is again you get your second wind. It's called second wind. Again, you're ready to run because you got all the energy. Same thing happens here. So it was sleepy. You refused to allow it to sleep. You had some other plans. You had a movie, you had friends, you had dinner, you had whatever, work. Okay. So because of these distractions, you had your social media, you had your kids thing. So many things are there to distract. So because of these, you have denied your body the sleep. So what happens? The first time you didn't allow. So when you are ready, it is now fully charged up and is thinking that you have to be awake. So when suddenly you say, okay, now I'm ready to sleep, but the body is not ready yet because this is in the second wind. So you have to wait for it to burn out again and then go for the third wind, like that. So if you give in the first thing itself, you would have automatically gone to sleep. Second time, it's more difficult. Third time, it becomes even more difficult. So just the easiest way is to go with the body's flow. Then, now what time, as I said, first you work out what is your comfortable time to go to sleep normally, by the body seeking, and what time it wakes up. But there is a quiz, online quiz. This is a link, all right? It's a power of when quiz. You can just Google it. The power, you see this, the power of when quiz. When you Google it, this is a page you'll come to. Are you able to see the page?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What's your chronotype? Take the quiz. Okay. So this is a page. Now what you can do then is, you can all unmute. If you're on a desktop or a laptop, you can do it. If you're on a phone, it will be a little difficult. If you just go in, you have to answer a few questions. Take less than a minute or 2 minutes. You can, as I'm talking, you can just log in and you can start getting into the quiz. You will find what chronotype. Chronotype means what time type are you? What is your chronotype for sleep? So earlier they used to say, I'm an early bird, or I'm a late night night owl. It was called night owls, those who stay awake late, and those who wake up early are called early birds. Broadly, it was broken into 2 types. Today, with more research, they have broken into 4 types, and they've given animal types for that. One, the early bird. Early bird is a lion. Because lions hunt early. They hunt at 5 in the morning, correct? Before dawn, the hunts go for their, they go for their hunt. The lions go for their hunt, and they're very active early morning at dawn. So lions go to sleep early, wake up early. That is a time type, chronotype. Then you have bears. Bears sleep at the normal time, like 10 p.m. or 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. That will be the bear. Because for the bears only, they made 9 to 5 as a work schedule. Because bears are most active between 9 and 5. 55% of the world is bears. Okay, that is why the 9 to 5 timing was designed. So that's the second type. The third type is a wolf. The wolf is a fellow who's nocturnal. They go to sleep at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and they wake up at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and they are productive only by 1 o'clock. You may relate to it. Some of you may feel, hey, I'm a wolf, or some of you, may be, I'm a bear, or I'm a lion. And then there's a fourth type. This is called the dolphin. What the dolphin does is, they can go to sleep, then they'll wake up, they'll be busy for some time, then again go to sleep. They will have intermittent sleeping. They are not, so it's very erratic. Sometimes they are lion, sometimes they are bear, sometimes they are wolf, and sometimes they are a mixture of all three. That is a dolphin. Okay. And in reality, in real life, dolphins are one of the few species which never fully sleeps. They have two halves of the brain. One half goes to sleep, the other half is awake. Okay. Then after 4 hours or 5 hours, they switch. The awake half goes to sleep, the sleeping half wakes up. So night and day they are always active. That is dolphin. So they have the person who designed it. He has termed these four as this. When you go into that quiz, you will notice those who have done the quiz. You can, and you in your mail you will get the answer. What you fall into. You can type what is, yeah, that is the one, the Power of N quiz. Dolphin, yes, great. So please type your answer. What is it that your animal type is? So Ramamirtham, you got dolphin, is it? And Rahul, yeah, I know you're dolphin. Okay. Okay. So it's, and do you have that erratic sleep type of thing? Is that right? Was the answer right?
Yeah, that's right, sir. So I used to work in the support system for more than 15 years. So I would get call at any time in the night, and I will wake up and get connected and troubleshoot, and then go back to sleep. So it
Okay.
became a pattern. So I sleep anytime, I wake up anytime. So it's not a problem at all for me nowadays.
Okay. So that's a dolphin type. Now, another thing is you can ask, am I whole life I'll be like this? You need not be like this. Okay. When you are early, you can change your chronotype. And it may happen because of age, I mean, as you age, or it can happen because of some lifestyle choices you made. It can happen because of some medical issues. Anything can cause a shift, or you can want to shift. You may want to say, I want to be a lion, or I want to be a bear. I want that type of a sleep schedule. And when you want to do that, you can make that shift. It's not a problem. It is not cast in stone. All life you're a dolphin. All life you're a wolf. No, that is not the case. So you have the choice. You have the free will. You can choose. There are methods to make the shift so that you design your life in a manner which suits you, which works for you, which you like that type of life. So you can design it. That's not a problem. Right? So all of you I've got only two answers so far, Rahul and Ramamirtham.
We're interestingly doing.
You're still doing, okay. How did you get it so fast, Ramamirtham?
I just started. It's some 8 or 9 questions only, sir. So as you were speaking, I was just clicking. So
Very good.
He's a robo, sir, in our team.
Super fast.
City robo, yeah.
City robo, yeah. I don't have to sleep. Yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, Neelam,
Wow,
a lot of
Neelam.
dolphins here in your club.
Come on. Welcome to the club.
I think we can have a dolphin club itself.
Yeah.
Siddharth, you're the right club. Rahul, Siddharth, you're the perfect club. What about the others? I'm very curious. Yeah, I am lion, by the way. Yeah, Rahul
That's
knows
good,
that.
sir. Yeah.
Yeah. What is surprising, Rahul? What is surprising? To feel a lot of dolphins, yes.
Oh yeah.
Birds of the same feather, so fishes of the same time flock together.
Same water. Yeah.
That's why I think you have your timing is 7 to 9, no, for the program.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the mail. I've not yet got. I think I need to redo or something.
No, that will be shown in the screen.
Spam, is it?
The-
On the screen.
yeah, result screen. If you haven't closed it, it will be there.
Neelam.
It's a bear.
Wow, super.
Okay, good.
For a change.
For a change.
Okay, Neelam, I'm normally an early sleep person, but past year, all haywire. First, I would say be comfortable with what happened in the past. It doesn't, past is past first. Okay, it's over. What do you want it to be? See, once you're clear, okay, I want to sleep by 10, wake up at 5 means that is one option. Okay, you may become clear what you want and why you want it. I mean, what, suppose you're getting up at 5, what are you going to do? Are you going to go for a run, or are you going to do meditation, or are you going to work on a project? I'm going to write a book, 1 hour, I'm going to write my book, some 10 pages I'll write, or whatever. Based on what you have decided, then, because that will make you wake up. You know that, okay, I need this has to be done. Before the day starts, I want all of this done. Actually, in my program, I have a 5-day program. This is one batch starting tomorrow. I am teaching people to sleep by 10 and wake up at 5 in just 5 days and 1 hour a day, evening 6 to 7. So what happens is, if you wake up at 5, or I say 1 hour before your day starts, let's say your normal day starts at 7, at least by 6 you wake up. That is, normally you wake up at 7, try and wake up at 6. So now you have extra 1 hour. That means 1 hour earlier you go to sleep, previous night. And in this 1 hour, you do things which otherwise you don't have time for. That is, for your spiritual self, meditation if you want, or your physical body, exercise you want, or you have a long-term goal of doing something. So you put your purpose, your dharma, your values, put what is it, you design your life, write it on paper, start developing the plan for your life. When you start doing that, then that will show up. Now, when you don't have a map, you don't have a destination, you'll only go wherever the road takes or wherever the water takes you. Because there is you have not decided I'm going here, no? So that 1 hour you use to decide and to do those few steps required to walk down that path. Because when you've taken a decision, you need all of you, no? You need your emotional body, your physical body, your spiritual body, your, all of those areas, energy body, everything you require. And they all have to get aligned to it. So you work on these bodies. Make sure that you invest that little bit of time, and that will give you a head start. It will give you the head start for the day, and you'll be very calm and in control of the day. You are not running behind things. You're managing things. You're directing things rather than following whatever is happening. Okay, Ansuya is going, no problem. I hope, Tulasi, you're recording this or whatever. Or
Yeah, I'm recording it.
please share that later. Okay.
I'll share it
Yeah.
only with you.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Yeah. So bear, a lot of bears also. So you have bears and dolphins. Oh, Rahul, your
God only.
pattern has changed. You become a wolf. So good, very good. Still some way to go to get to be a bear or something. Okay, good. All right. So coming back to the share, let me get back to the screen. We have another 15 minutes, right? Okay. So when you should sleep has been, you've seen your chronotype. There is some videos there and other things you can follow that, so that you'll get to learn more about the subject. So once you get to know that, that is fine. Then the practices you need to do, and then I'll get to FAQ, right? Practices. Become aware of when your body wants to sleep, when it wants to wake up. I already told you that. Develop a routine for yourself based on the above. What is my morning routine, during the day, evening, before sleep, all of that. As you start making a routine, then your life starts falling into place. That is in a way that you want to direct it, rather than we running behind life. Okay, you can start getting a sense of control over your life when you start understanding your body and aligning yourself to it and going forward. Then another practice is stilling the mind. All of this we teach in our workshop, that 1 week workshop. So you could stilling the mind, preparing the environment, and there's a practice called Brahmani Pranayama. You can Google it. You'll get videos about this. If some of you have learned yoga, you'll know what it is, and you'll be able to go for it. So these are the practices that you can have for the science of sleep. I'll come to the FAQ, because this is what, so I'm open for questions. I also have a set of questions in case you guys are not asking any, but I'm sure you might end up asking all the questions, but I already have some preset questions. You can go ahead and ask questions and I'm ready to answer.
So what was that yoga you just mentioned, sir? Brahma yoga, right?
The Brahmani Pranayama. It's like this. You press your ear in and then you hum like a bumblebee. You're breathing in. It's you know that, right? It's in
Yeah, yeah.
yoga.
Yeah, it's been,
Yeah. So that vibration happens
Yeah.
in the brain.
Yes.
Okay.
So you bring your focus to your pineal gland and you get the whole vibration in your head. Because when you do that, it kind of like completely unsettles all that other thoughts and allows you to sleep. At night, when you do it 10 times, it helps you to go to sleep easily. For those of you who are struggling for sleep. So that is one of the techniques.
Once again, sir, please. I was in the other window.
Oh, okay. The Brahmari Pranayama is a yoga practice where you shut your ears like this. You put your finger like this and shut. There's another way where they do like this or like this. There are different, but basically it's to shut your ear, and then when you basically what you're doing, you're exhaling, but you're creating a humming like a bee sound. And that bee sound should be reverberating in your head. Your focus should be behind the third eye. Your pineal gland is behind the third eye. So when you put your eyes up, get your focus there and breathe out, in a controlled manner where your the sound goes. It'll clear your head, and do this 10 times before you sleep. Because it's a great way of clearing you from the day, allowing you to sleep.
It is called
Okay.
Bhramari Yoga.
Thank you, sir.
Pranayam.
Welcome. Pardon?
It is called Bhramari Pranayam.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been typed by Santosh Kumari. So it's already there in the chat. Exhale and create B sound. Yes, exactly.
Sir, the test gives me more than 10 questions. I keep on answering. I don't know if I'm on the right window.
Yeah, go
That's
ahead.
okay, ma'am. We can do it later on also. I'll be there to help you. So right now, let us finish it.
Yeah. So what are the other questions you have? I mean, do you have questions? You can type it in the chat window. I can answer one by one. Otherwise, I can go with the own questions.
Yes, sir. You can go.
Do you want to know how many hours of sleep is required? This I answered earlier, between 7 to 9 hours. Okay, so it depends on the body. Some people are perfectly okay with 7 hours, and some people require 9 hours. So children will need 10 hours, 10, 12 hours also, very young children. So different age groups, different thing. In fact, you can visit my blog. There is a article on that. It's a longer article. It has a age-wise what hours of sleep is required and all that. Yeah, Santosh, yes. Closing your ears. I'm in line, sir. Yes, okay. Next is, what is the right time to sleep and wake up? Again, I've answered that. There is no right and wrong time, but that 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. that time you should be asleep, deep sleep. So by 10, 10:30, if you're asleep, and up to 3, 3:30, that's your minimum. Now, if you can sleep up to 5, great. 10 to 5 is great, or 9 to 5, 10 to 6, whichever works for you is okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
suppose some days I sleep at 12 o'clock, but still I need to catch up with the 7 to 9 hours. Is that okay? Because I can't, my day would not be like so with energy and alertness if I don't go to that 8 to 9 hours sleep.
Yeah.
So 12 to 8, 12 to 9, is that okay? Because I have developed that pattern, I think, of late.
Yeah, the problem is between 11 and 12, that housekeeping crew is not working on whichever organ it's supposed to work at that time.
Hi, sir.
So you are actually compromising certain organs of your body.
Okay. Okay.
You understand that?
I got it. Yeah. Whichever is getting activated or cleansed, I think I'm compromising on that.
Yeah,
Correct?
at that time, 11 to 12.
Tulasi, hi Tulasi.
Pardon?
Yes, ma'am. Bhuvana ma'am, you have a question.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
You're audible, ma'am.
No, எனக்கு மட்டுமா என்னன்னு தெரியல ஆடியோ பிரேக் முக்காவாசி
Probably it's
I think your network is there is some
கேட்கவே இல்ல
issue.
75% எனக்கு ஏதோ ஒரு என்ன
இல்ல மேம் உங்க நெட்வொர்க்ல ஏதோ இஷ்யூ இருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். இங்க எல்லாம் கிளியரா தான் இருக்கு மேம்.
பண்றாரு எது பண்றாருன்னு ஒண்ணும் புரியல.
இங்க கிளியரா இருக்கு மேம்.
ஹலோ.
So, sir, can I complete? So, in the long run, it is not good for that organ.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
எனக்கு தெரியல கேட்கல. The chat also இல்ல சொல்றது தெரியல. I was keeping quiet.
Welcome, Santosh. Okay, can we sleep in 2 or more installments? Yes, I've answered that also.
Hello.
Bhuvana ma'am, உங்க சைடுல ஒரு நெட்வொர்க் இஷ்யூ இருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன் மேம். எங்களுக்கு கேக்குது மேம்.
அப்படியா?
நீங்க இப்போதைக்கு மியூட் பண்ணிக்கோங்க.
எனக்கு பிரச்சனை கேட்கல.
நீங்க மியூட் பண்ணிக்கோங்க மேம். நான் அப்புறம் வீடியோ உங்களுக்கு ஷேர் பண்றேன்.
எனக்கு ரெண்டு டவுட் மட்டும் சார் கேட்டு சொல்லுங்க.
நீங்க சாட் பாக்ஸ்ல போடுங்க
more about REM.
நீங்க சாட் பாக்ஸ்ல போடுங்க மேம். சார் சொல்லுவாங்க.
What is the doubt?
REM she's asking about REM.
Rapid eye movement sleep, REM sleep. It's called. You want to know?
நான் தனி பர்சனல் விண்டோல போடவா?
மேம் நான் திருப்பி உங்களுக்கு கூப்பிடுறேன் மேம். நீங்க சாட் பாக்ஸ்ல போடுங்க. அவங்க ஆன்சர் பண்ணுவாங்க.
Yeah, that's right. That's already answered. Is daytime sleep okay? Yeah, as long as it doesn't affect your nighttime sleep. If you want to sleep at 10 every day, and at daytime, suppose you're sleeping at 5 or 6 in the evening, it's definitely going to affect your nighttime sleep. So if you're getting enough rest in the day, you need not have that much rest in the night, right? So automatically you'll get corrupted or compensated. So you need to decide whether you want to use up your day for the night sleep, because end of the day, night 11 to 3, you should be asleep. So whether you want to sleep 10 to 5, 10 to 6, that's a decision you have to take. Can we nap in the afternoons? Perfectly okay. Half an hour, 15 minutes, half an hour is a nap. That is fine. 1.5 hours, 2 hours is a sleep. That is also okay. I have a friend who goes cycling every morning, almost every morning. He's either cycling or running. Okay. And he gets up at 3:45, 4. He's out by 4:30. And but he goes to sleep. At night, he gets 4.5, 5 hours sleep. But in the afternoon, he gets 2 hours sleep. So overall, he gets a 7 hours sleep. Every afternoon, he sleeps 2 hours. So he's not sleep deprived. And he's getting the 11 to 3 sleep also. You get it? So he's getting bang, that housekeeping time sleep is there. So all his organs are getting there. So he's fit, healthy, strong at my same age. He's 59. He's 1 year older than me. But he's still extremely fit. He can cycle 200 kilometers. So you can imagine what it is. So that's a type of fitness levels he has. Out of the 4 stages of sleep, when is the time for REM? You don't have to worry about that. See, there is REM in every 4 stages. One stage is REM out of the 4. I will show you this. One moment. Let me show you that. See, this is the REM sleep. You are able to see it? The blue color is REM sleep. So you don't have to worry at all. You don't consciously say REM should come, this should come, that is a problem. We interfere with our natural processes, which is a autonomic processes. It's autonomous. It does on its own. You don't have to control at all. The less you control your sleep, the better for yourself and your body and your mind. The less you control it. It is autonomous function. Allow the body to do its work. That's all. So you don't control and say REM now should happen. No. This is how it works. I hope this chart is self-explanatory. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shows the number of cycles, and each cycle is 90 minutes, 1.5 hours. So totally 7.5 hours sleep. The blue portion is your sleep. So it happens throughout. It will come in cycles. Right? Next question. What time should we exercise? Yeah, exercise don't do just before sleeping. 2 hours before sleeping, no heavy gym exercise. You can do a light walk. After dinner, you just want to have a slow walk with your spouse, children, or friends, whatever. You can go do that and come. Slow walk, relaxed, no stress type of thing is okay. But heavy gymming, exercise, that type of stuff, minimum 2 hours before. 3 to 4 hours before you can do. Best time is morning, of course. I'm a lion, so I will say that. But if you're a dolphin, your best time may be something else. You have to discover your best time, but please don't push it to just 1 hour before sleeping. That's not the right time. Why can't I watch TV before I sleep? One is the blue screen, okay, which interferes with the melatonin production. Melatonin production does not happen when it sees a blue screen. So when you're going to sleep, it's a tiredness putting you to sleep, and it's not your deep sleep. Melatonin production is required for all those other organs to get properly activated. Otherwise, it is like sedation sleep. You can drink and sleep. You can put pop sleeping pills and sleep. These are all not sleep. It is sedation. Okay, normal healthy sleep is when melatonin is produced naturally by the body, and then you're falling asleep. After sunrise, after sunset, melatonin is produced 2 to 3 hours after sunset. So that 6 o'clock sunset means between 8 and 9 it's produced. So between 9 and 10 you will sleep. That is 1 hour after it's produced, you will typically sleep. After sunrise, I said you have to get in the sunlight. You have to put your body, go out and let the sunlight fall on you for 10 minutes. Every day, get a sun bath, literally. When the sun bathes you, it corrects your circadian cycle and keeps it aligned with the overall cosmos. So that's all. Get exposed to the warm, even if it's cloudy, it is okay. Just allow your eyes to see that and let that fall on you, fall on your body. So it's like resetting your circadian clock. It gets set properly because of all this artificial light. No, the circadian clock is confused. So when you give it this thing, it resets it properly. Is that clear? Any questions? None of you are asking questions. I am only showing the questions.
No, we have.
I have question, but I'm just waiting for others. Like I should not be.
Don't.
No, this,
Thank you, sir.
this is very similar to Jain community also. They follow these things. They don't usually consume food or water after one sunset. Even the food they take, it's at least 6:40. They stick to the time. They make it even. They don't take even a drop of water even afterwards. So that's how they build the clock. I've been working with them, so I know a lot of it.
Super. Yeah, when you're talking about water, yeah, it's okay not to have water before sleeping, but when you wake up, get water. Apparently, we burn 1 liter of water by exhalation at night when we are sleeping. So that 1.5 liters goes out. So we are actually dehydrated. So morning, instead of tea or coffee first thing, if you have some water, at least room temperature water, 1 or 2 tumblers if you have, it's a good way of replenishing it. And in the first 1 to 2 hours, try and get in 1.5 liters of water, because that will replenish and hydrate your body. Water is extremely important. So make sure you have water in the morning. The first 1.5 hours, have 1.5 liters of water, as long as you don't have any medical condition like a kidney issue or some other issue where you're told not to have water, in which case you follow the doctor's advice. But if you're normal, definitely 1.5 liters of water in the first 1.5 hours is extremely important. It'll keep you in a good mood, it'll keep your body healthy, everything will work out well. Then, any questions I'll answer, otherwise I'm going through. What about hot lemon water? Actually, yeah, I drink that, but don't stick with just hot lemon water.
Sir, 1.5 liters water per day, yes, sir?
Morning, first 1.5 hours. The total water for the day is typically or 24 kilos body weight ko 1 liter water. So if you're, let's say, 70 kilos is your body weight, then 3 liters water. If your body weight is about 45, 50 kilos, then it's 2 liters water.
In the morning?
No. Daytime. So that's a whole day's thing. Morning,
Throughout.
1 to 1.5 liters of water in the morning. Because that's the amount you lost at night with exhalation. Okay. Only if I drink, I can sleep. Is that okay? No, that's not okay. I mean, drink, matlab, here we are talking about alcohol. That is not, actually, if you have to drink, then one peg, if you're having, can be 1 hour before your sleep. If you have to drink, that is. If you're having 2 pegs, it should be 2 hours before sleeping. Because alcohol has a half-life. It's in your blood. So if there is an alcohol level in the blood, your sleep patterns are disturbed. Which is why we say, we are talking about sleep patterns. You may get sedation, you may get knocked off unconscious, you may be thinking you're asleep. But that's not sleep, that's sedation. Okay.
Sir, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
If alcohol will be in our blood?
Yeah, there is a half-life for alcohol, half-life for caffeine. Caffeine also has half-life. Alcohol's half-life is 1 peg of alcohol is 1 hour. 2 pegs means 2 hours. 2 hours before sleep, you should have it.
So even
You
coffee,
get the
tea, coffee,
coffee,
tea.
coffee and tea, make it, see, for coffee's half-life is 6 hours. And it has a quarter life. Up to quarter life, it has an effect in your blood system. It's there in your blood. So they say 12 hours before sleep is the right thing.
Then
12
what about
hours.
tea?
Tea has a less caffeine level, so you could have that, but that's what. Try and minimize it before lunchtime or before tea time, maximum, if you're having tea in the evening. If you have to have. See, end of the day, it's your attachment and belief system and all that. If you're going to get psyched out by it, then just continue with it. But in terms, see, these are minute. See your brain waves. No, if the deep, even brain waves, that's a best sleep. Now, if it is short and straggled, you're getting sleep, but it's a disturbed sleep, and you're not fully getting the health benefit of the sleep. So, for the full health benefit, this is required. But you're okay with compromising it, that is okay. But in terms of their advice, their sleep doctor's advice, coffee should be in the morning. Before 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the morning should be your last cup, not after that. If it's tea, that too before lunch, maximum 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Before lunch, they prefer, because that stays in your blood for 12 hours. That is a problem. Half-life is 6 hours. quarter life is 12 hours. That is a breakdown of the levels in your blood.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. This is an eye opener for me. Thank you.
Okay. You're
What
welcome.
did you say about the hot water in the morning, hot lemon water in the morning?
Yeah, first have normal water, then you do the lemon water. Directly hot lemon water on a totally empty stomach, I don't know. I mean, I've not got any evidence or doctor's advice, but I've seen a friend of mine who got cancer even though she did this for some years. Now, I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with the fact, because she leads a healthy life normally, and she was doing this hot lemon water every morning, and she ended up with cancer after that. So I know her for last 15 years, and 3 years back 2 years back she contracted. So I'm a little, I'm not sure whether because on an empty stomach she had it. I'm not sure. There's no scientific evidence here. So I'm not sure. So I won't advise it from my viewpoint. That's something you can always check somewhere else, because this is not scientific medical thing.
So
Okay.
you suggest that first you take normal room temperature water, then you go for hot
Correct.
water.
Correct. Exactly.
Thank
Then
you.
you go for warm water, warm lemon water with honey. I have warm, that is, I have green tea. I cool it. Without milk, green tea. I cool it, add lemon and honey, and I have that. That is my morning cup. Okay, but before that, I would have already had about two glasses of water, which is about 600 ml or so. I would have already consumed. So it's not on an empty stomach. This I started doing after she got cancer. No? So because somehow I felt that maybe a correlation. I don't know, because otherwise she has very clean habits, and she's not very stressed out. She doesn't have any of the preconditions for cancer. So that kind of disturbed me. And so, which is why I want to be cautious about that.
What kind of cancer was developed?
No, it was actually blood cancer.
Oh,
Yeah. So she went through a tough time with that. Okay. So coffee, I've already told. So it's not good in the evening or night. In fact, by 10 or 11 in the morning, if you can stop your coffee, better, because that way you'll get your full proper rest. Sleeping pills, okay, definitely not okay, unless your doctor tells. I cannot go against what your doctor says, but you have to look at how can you naturally be able to get your sleep. Because if you get natural sleep, no doctor will prescribe sleeping pills for you, because you're not getting it and you're worried. And because what happens is those who are sleep deprived, first, it is a little bit of anxiety. Okay, first, they may not notice it. Second, there'll be some anxiety. Then, if the anxiety goes into sometimes paranoia, then it becomes a depression. Then it can go up to schizophrenia and then suicide. So, this is the overall impact of sleep deprivation on your mind. Because when it becomes extreme, you become suicidal. So don't get there. All right. So for which the doctors, the only thing they know is sleeping pill. Give sleeping pill, make the person sleep so he won't harm himself. You understand? It's the easiest way. You're sedated, you cannot harm yourself. But it is not your natural sleep. And secondly, when you become dependent on this, your body's ability to fall asleep naturally starts going down. And you need more of these pills. You become addicted to it over a period of time, which is why you find a natural method to go to sleep, in which case your doctor will automatically say, okay, you don't need sleeping pills. Okay, so you must get there. I wake up with alarm and put it on snooze, and I wake up out. Is that okay? Definitely not okay. Because basically you're telling yourself that you don't listen to yourself. Okay, and that's a bad way to start the day, because you don't trust your own self. You decided to wake up at a time, and then when you go against your own word, that gives you permission to go against your own word throughout the day. And then your sleep may not listen to you, your wake up may not listen to you, but nothing will listen to you, because you're not listening to yourself. So first start listening to yourself. You've decided on something, do it. And that starts at the alarm. Because at that point, if you cannot do it, the rest of the day may not come under your control. Second, I feel tired in the morning after sleep. Why? Yeah, so this could be either you could have sleep apnea, that is snoring, so some blockage in your thing, so less oxygen may be coming in, or the environment in your room may not be good, or there are multiple. There could be a medical condition. In fact, I think I shared an article yesterday or today in my blog about this. So you can go through the articles. There are multiple reasons, but this is you have to become aware of it, and you have to see when you feel most comfortable and energetic. That means maybe less sleep you've got. Okay, so get your natural sleep cycle first, identify. And then as you keep giving this, and if you still have this problem, then check with a doctor, because you could have sleep apnea, you could have another medical condition. You'll have to check that and then find out. I'm drowsy the whole day. Again, it's a very similar answer to the 12th one. Either you're not getting enough sleep, or you're not getting enough oxygen while you're sleeping because of certain blockages. It could be your snoring or sleep apnea or something like that. So you have to check that, because nowadays they have the PAP machine and other things which will help you oxygenate yourself properly, and so that you're fully rested. Otherwise, you've slept 8 hours, but you got the rest of only 2-3 hours in terms of oxygen, because your breathing has been compromised. 13, yeah, so that's the 13th one. 14th one is, I get too many dreams. Is that okay? Perfectly okay, no issue at all. And then it takes me a long time to sleep after going to bed. What should I do? Please read my blog. That's a big topic. Okay, I don't know. There are multiple methods. It's there. You attend my workshop. That is the best thing I can say. So you can ask Tulasi. She has that link, so she may be able to share it with you.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, please. Thank you. So that way you'll be able to get into the workshop and understand, because it's a big topic. It cannot be covered in this short time. Any other questions? It's difficult to
Sir,
start
for
with.
question 13, Ishwar here.
Yeah.
Yeah, for question 13, you said about oxygen. You said that, I mean, we'll only get about 2 hours sleep. I didn't quite get it. If you can say that again, please. Thank you.
If you have a condition like sleep apnea, or that is, you may have a flabby muscle in your throat which is preventing oxygen going fully in. So when you're breathing in, a full lungful is not going. It's a very reduced portion is going. So after some time you gasp and you wake up. That's called sleep apnea. It's a particular condition. Okay, that's when snoring happens and all that.
Maybe is it also, do we also get cough and all that?
Yeah, cough you can get. You can suddenly wake up like, as though you're being strangled. You could have a cough and you can wake up, yes.
Thank you.
That's because of that condition. So there are multiple methods to solve it. They have various, there are 4-5 methods. You can just check with your doctor and get that done.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, sir.
Yeah, welcome. Anything else? I think perfect time, 9:01 it is.
Very good keeping up, sir. Just like your body, mind, soul, everything connected. So it's all with integrity. Anything that anybody would like to conclude, or anything to say,
Sir?
feedback? Ma'am, and those who are interested, please hold on. This is just a mini session. Whatever he could just, I was able to give enough of it, but I would recommend that you all join his WhatsApp program, which is going to happen from tomorrow. I've already signed in for that. So I will also be sharing the link with you so that you can get used to know about your old things. Then you'll be able to ask questions. I think that would come as some solutions for everybody. So what do you say, sir? Do you have something to say, Ignatius?
No, I'm
Sir,
perfectly fine.
will your session help me to bring back the habit of sleeping at 10:30, 11? That was my usual time just before pandemic.
Yeah, that is the
10,
objective of the session. The objective of the session is you sleep by 10 o'clock and wake up at 5 o'clock.
Thank you, sir.
It's called sleep by 10 p.m., wake up at 5 a.m.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So for all the links, please do ping me in a private window so that I'll be able to share it. And there is a recording also, I think, made it. So I'll also be sharing the recording very shortly, maybe probably by next Tuesday or Wednesday, that will reach you. And with kind note of thanks to Ignacio Rafael sir. Thank you so much for being here, because I feel this is needed, because once we establish this routine, I think everybody will become unstoppable, right? So this is
Absolutely.
one thing.
Absolutely.
And
You
thank
need
you so
energy
much.
and health.
Thank you so
Energy
much.
and health is what will take you. Yes.
Yeah, energy, health, enthusiasm, whatnot, we can bring.
Yeah.
We can keep spreading as well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Most welcome.
Thank
Thank
you
you all.
Ram. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you,
Very much.
Jayashree.
So insightful, sir. Thank you.
Very useful and corrective session.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Quite useful.